Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are working with YouPretty Hair to bring you this color tutorial. I have a 14-inch frontal, a 14, a 16, a 18, and 20-inch bundles. So I'm using the Ion pre-color treatment to go ahead and start the bleaching process. You're going to want to go ahead and just spray this all over all of your hair and comb it through before you start any lightening or coloring. Then I'm adding Clairol's basic white bleach to a container, and I'm also going to add their 40 volume developer with Soyplex, and this will just further aid in our bleaching process. Then I'm going to take the Ion color booster and I'm going to add that into the bleach, and here's a color sealer you're going to use after you rinse out the bleach, but only use that after you rinse out the bleach. The booster you're going to actually add into the mixture and apply it to your hair. If you guys watch carefully, you'll see that when I'm doing my frontals, I do a horizontal stroke until I reach to the top, and then I do a more vertical stroke as I get closer to the roots, just to add a more natural gradient effect. You're going to also want to flip over your frontal and make sure that the back is completely saturated in bleach as well. Now, when it came to the bundles, after a while I got a little bit antsy, so I just dipped the tips of the hair in, and then I went ahead and spread the hair out, combed it a little bit, and added the bleach in. Now, the reason I dipped the tips of the hair in first is because I noticed that when I was just going through and adding the bleach, parts of the hair was bleaching fast. By the time I got to the end of the weft, the beginning of the weft had already started bleaching. I would rather have the ends lighter, so I went ahead and added bleach to them first, if that makes sense. Now, once you do the front, don't forget to turn over, do the back, and then open up the bundles, and wherever you see black or brown, add in your bleach mixture. You don't want to leave any parts out. This is very, very important. As you guys can see, you are going to be using a lot of bleach for this, especially since I'm using 4 bundles and I'm doing a frontal. So I would say I use about half a container of bleach, about 2 bottles of those Soyplex developers, 6 of the color boosters, and about 5 of the color sealers. So this is a very, very expensive process. Just let that be known. Now, once I finish bleaching one of the bundles, I do wrap them up in a plastic bag to let them process. And here you see me checking on one of the first bundles that I did. As you can see, it is processing. I just go back in and add in more bleach. So when you hear me talk about bleaching my hair more than once, technically I did not rinse it out and re-bleach. What I did was just add more bleach to the already bleached hair and allowed that to process for even longer. So once we are finished, about an hour and a half later of processing, this is the results. As you can see, the 18-inch and the frontal lifted the highest. I did those first, and my 20 and my 14-inch bundles were the ones that did not lift as high. Now I'm going to use these 2 colored dyes from Adore, the Indigo and the Royal Navy, and I'm going to use the exact same method of applying my bleach to my frontal, I'm going to use that to apply the color to the frontal. So it's horizontal strokes, and then once you get closer to the roots, you're going to want to go ahead and do vertical strokes very carefully so that you do not get any dye on your frontal. Also, to aid in this process of not getting dye on your frontal, go ahead and spray some hairspray on there first, frontal side up. Just go ahead and spray any hairspray that you have, allow it to dry, flip it over, and then start your coloring process. Now I wanted to make sure this hair was super duper saturated, so what I did was just add about 5 of the indigo blue dyes and 2 of the royal navy dyes into my empty bleach bucket, and then I went ahead and mixed it all up and then added it to the hair. This was enough for my entire frontal and my 4 bundles. Just showing you guys a close-up of how I'm being careful around that frontal, how I'm getting all up into the hair and making sure I really saturate every portion of this hair with the dye. I do not want any green patches in this hair, so I am being super duper thorough with saturating this hair. You're gonna need a lot of dye, you're gonna need a lot of bleach. Just let that be known. Now, you can be a little bit more messy when applying the dye to the bundles. As you can see, I'm kind of just slapping it on, painting it up, focusing more on the ends, and then I'm going back in and saturating the roots. Because some of the roots would be covered up, I didn't care too much if I missed a spot or two, but I did end up saturating the entire bundle. I flipped it over. Anywhere that I saw brown, I was covering with blue. I wanted to make sure there were no strands left untouched. And then I go in and I make sure that the inside is covered in blue. I massage the hair thoroughly, and then I put it in a plastic bag to process. And that's just about it for the color tutorial, you guys. Stay tuned for my thoughts on the hair. Alright guys, so here is the super fun and interesting part where I go through the specs of the hair and my experience with working with the hair. So this hair was provided by You Pretty, as I stated at the beginning of the video. It is in the style Brazilian loose wave, and I have 20, 18, 16, 14-inch bundles, and I believe this is a 14-inch closure as well. Now, the reason why this does not look like 20 inches is because I reversed layered it when I was doing my wig. If you guys don't know what that means, I explained that in my previous video, that when I want to have a more full look and I don't want it to be all like pre-layered, or I want it to be a certain length, sometimes I'll get longer lengths, like I'll get them like 14, 16, 18, 20, and I will put them in a wig, the 14-inch first, and on top of that I'll put the 16, on top of that I'll put the 18, on top of that I'll put the 20, going towards the closest to the frontal, and then I'll style the wig like that. So that is what I did this time. I went ahead and put the 14 on the bottom and the 20 closest to the frontal. And then as I was curling and everything, I just went ahead and kind of went in and put in a few gradual layers to add some body and bounce. So that's what you guys see up here in front. You just see those layers. I did not do a tutorial on that because I'm still learning myself how to do it, and I don't want to teach you guys the wrong way. So once I kind of perfect how I do my layers and things, I'll go ahead and put a tutorial out there for you guys. Now, the hair did come in a natural black state, as you can see. I'll try to put the picture up here. It came in a natural black state. I was able to lift the hair to around a like honey brown color and then dye it to achieve this color. Now, when this color is just in natural lighting outside, you can really see the blues, and hopefully I did get some footage of that for you guys, and if so, I'll insert that here as well. If not, go ahead and check out my Instagram, because I'm sure I put a video up of me kind of playing with this hair on my Instagram. That is Brianna LaRue on IG. I should have the Instagram link below as well, so you guys can go ahead and follow me there, because that's where I do put up some of my processes and things like that, and you'll be the first to know about some of the colors and tutorials that I'll be doing. But as I said, when you see this hair in sunlight and natural light, it is a pretty royal blue. And then when you're indoors, it is very subtle. It just has like a blue highlights and it kind of just looks black, which is what I really wanted. I know I did a video before when I did a how to dye your hair black with blue undertones, which is not how to dye your hair blue to look black. That's two totally different things. But of course the video was misunderstood because of the thumbnail, blah 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 blah, whatever, what have you. This is a completely different look. This is not how I get my like jet black hair that doesn't have a blue undertone, because as you guys know, jet black hair can also have green undertones or they can have red undertones depending on what dye you use. So this is more of how I get a blue, a dark midnight navy blue hair that looks black. So it's still professional, but it's also still like eye-popping when you're outside. Okay, so the processes of me dyeing the hair, I did do a different process than I normally do. Normally I would just take my hair and use my Salon 40 developer and my BW2 bleach, and I would go to town and try to lighten the hair as much as I can, and if the hair melts, the hair melts, and if it doesn't, then we're moving on. But this time, when I tell you guys that this process was expensive, to do it in the version that I did it, it was super duper expensive. I purchased the Ion pre-color steps to help with the bleaching and to help with maintaining the health of the hair, which my God did it do. And it just took a longer time, and I really took time with this one. I really took time plucking my frontal. I really took time making the wig. The wig is completely double wefted, stitched. It's just, it's probably one of the best wigs I've ever constructed as far as just construction goes. It is the nicest wig that I've ever made. And I really took my time with doing this hair color because it is one of the hair colors that I've always wanted, and I wanted you guys to really get the effect that I was going for with this. I did just put a couple of pin curls in it and kind of did an old Hollywood type of style with this hair color, threw on a red lip, and I think that this look is amazing. What I would recommend is to do this color. I do believe that it would be easier if you start out with 613 hair. However, if you do start out with 613 hair and you use the indigo blue dyes and the, what's the other dye? I don't know, I'll have it pop up here. The other darker blue dye, I think it might be navy blue or something like that. I can guarantee you it will not be this subtle. It will be true to color. The dye will be a true blue color. And if I can, I'll go ahead and show you guys. I did 3 test strands. I did one on a pure 613 color. I did one on a more 27-ish color, and then one on the honey brown color. Now I bleached my hair to be in between the honey brown and the 27 color, and this dye took perfectly. Now what I was worried about is having green highlights in this hair. There are some places where there is a little tiny teeny bit of like teal. It isn't like that nasty hunter green that I've seen in a lot of people's blue dye tutorials, but it is like teal, and I don't think that you can avoid that if you lift a darker color. If you lift a darker color and you're not lifting into a 613, I do believe that some of your highlights will come out more teal, and that is okay because it's not really noticeable once it's engrossed in kind of that blue and kind of indigo vibe. I think that just, it's attributed to what undertones they put in the dyes. I did notice that when I let some of the Adora dye dry on a paper plate, it does have green undertones in it. So that's just kind of how they construct the dyes, and it's just something that you should be able to expect. If you tone the hair after you bleach it, it might counteract that. I can't say for sure if you go ahead and tone it with a purple shampoo and then dye it, it will completely get rid of the green. I personally don't think it will, but it's worth a shot if you guys just absolutely cannot stand some of those teal, more tealy highlights in your hair. Now, talking about the hair, I have absolutely no bad news. Like, no bad news, no problems. The hair itself, the only thing I would say is I wish the hair was able to lift higher the first time I bleached it. I didn't want to have to bleach it twice and 3 times and 4 times. I didn't want to have to keep going in. I just wish that hair would lift a little higher. I already use a 40 volume developer. I left the bleach on for about an hour and a half, and it still only went to like that honey kind of brown color. I was hoping that it would lift a little higher, but I think the resistance of the bleach also has something to do with the ion products kind of trying to counteract the harshness of the bleach and trying to maintain the bonds of the hair, so maybe it slowed down the bleaching process more than I thought it would. But I was just so surprised that I left that bleach on for so long and it didn't lift like a more yellow blonde color. But I have had hair that lifted very fast. I've had hair that did not, that was super duper resistant, and this hair just seemed to be one of those more resistant types of hair when it came to lifting it. Now, don't get me wrong, we got there. It worked. Thank goodness the brownish color did work, but I think I would have been a little safer if it was a little bit lighter. Maybe then we wouldn't have had those teal highlights that I was talking about earlier. Now right now I do believe that You Pretty Hair is having a Christmas sale. If you click the link down below, you should be able to go to this exact hair that I ordered, the loose Brazilian bundles, and it does come, I believe, it does come in a 4-bundle pack. It is super duper full. This is a lot of hair. If y'all are looking for like New Year's, y'all still looking for holiday hair, or if you just love big ridiculous Hollywood hair, then this is definitely the hair for you guys. I am in love with how this hair took color. I'm in love with just the fullness and the bounce of this hair. 4 bundles is a lot to fit in a wig. 3 of my bundles are double wefted, and then the last bundle is single wefted. So I had to double up on 3 of the bundles in order to even fit 4 bundles in with this frontal. Maybe one day I'll show you guys how I do that in a wig, but just not this particular tutorial. This tutorial is about the hair color, so I hope you guys do appreciate that portion of it. Just look how, I just want you guys to see how big this hair is. It's gorgeous. It's freaking gorgeous. I don't want to mess up my hair because I can't really see myself. So just to do a quick summary recap, I did have to bleach this hair for over an hour in order to get the color that I got. I only had to use 2 different type of dyes to get this exact tone of color, but I did have to use about 2 bottles of dye per bundle. I do believe, no, that's not true. I used about 7 bottles altogether. I used 5 of the indigo and 2 of the navy blue to dye this entire hair. I did buy 2 extra dyes, but I didn't use them. I had them as a backup just in case the hair came out blotchy in any places. However, it didn't. I was actually super duper surprised about that. It didn't come out blotchy, even though it wasn't as high as a volume as I wanted it to be when we started to color it. The hair took to the color beautifully. I only left the color in for about 6 hours. I usually leave my colors in overnight, but I needed to construct the wig and get ready for today, so I only left it in for 6 hours. I washed it out, blow dried it, threw some pink curls in it, and then this morning this is what we have. So I am freaking amazed. The hair did come pre-plucked, but I did go in and pluck it a little bit more, let it, you know, come to life a little bit, look a little bit more realistic. And that's just about it. As far as constructing the wig, that took me about, maybe, I think constructing the wig took me about 2.5 hours, because I was double wefting and I sold the entire thing. So I made sure that this thing was flat. This install was freaking amazing, and I am super super happy about it. I didn't have to do anything to the lace. I just went ahead and laid it down and then added some of my foundation powder, and this is basically what we have. This is the finished holiday look. I hope you guys really like it. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and if you have ever ordered from You Pretty Hair, then please let me know what your experience is down below as well. And let me know what new color you guys want to see. I have a couple of colors in my head that are coming up that we're going to do here on this channel, but if there's something you want to specifically see, please do leave a comment down below. and thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much. Have a very, very Merry Christmas. And if I don't see you before then, but I will, have a Happy New Year. I love you guys. Bye. I don't know if you guys can see this. I know I'm breathing hard because I'm fat, but can you guys see that? Can you see that blue? Hold on. Can you see it? Oh, look at the blue. It's so pretty. It's so pretty with like red lipstick. If you guys do this color, you have to wear red lipstick every day. You gotta, because it just wouldn't be right if you didn't. Alright, you guys. Bye.